Mm-hmm.
Check now.
Good.
Check. Nothing?
Check now.
Here we go.
All right. Yeah. Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the flipping Made Easy studio in Mattawa, New Jersey. Your host, Sturch and Gooch. And, of course, it is a feel-good football victory Friday for the Dallas Cowboys and myself. I know you picked the Saints, so go after yourself there. Gooch, how are we doing this morning? Did you enjoy the game?
I didn't enjoy the game because it was a bad game to watch. It was very
sloppy,
but I did win money, and I did, in fact, bet the Cowboys. I faded myself, but it wasn't for the game.
It was not.
It was not.
It was actually
it was just for
and you can thank Michael Gallup for getting up there and scoring before the first quarter ended, so you can cover that number.
First quarter minus a half a point. I looked like a lock, but I had to sweat it out. It definitely wasn't a lock.
Yeah.
And then I took the under, like I said, and I had to definitely sweat that one out at the end too. But overall, it was a good payday.
We'll get into the game in a couple minutes, but first we're gonna give ourselves a couple plugs here. ChopSportsMedia.com. Go check us out. Go, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you there. And of course, if you're listening in podcast form on either Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google Music. Actually, I want somebody to go home and have if they have an Alexa, and I want them to be like, hey, Alexa, play Chop Sports. I just want to see what happens. I don't think I've done it yet. I have an Alexa and I haven't done it yet. So, I'm curious to see what happens. But anyway, we would get into the Knicks.
The Fire Stick might be able to do that.
That's very true. Very true.
We'll try it on break.
We'll look into it. The Knicks lose. I don't want to talk about it. I didn't watch any of the game because of obviously reasons. But I did follow along with Kyle and the Pick Bish on Twitter to kind of get the feel of how they were doing. Clearly, they did not do well towards the back end. They fought to the end. Oh, well, it is what it is. Dina is chiming in saying, I'll have one in the office. She'll have an Alexa in the office. So we're still awaiting the arrival of the Pick Bish herself. She's coming in today, said she's moving some stuff in. So we'll see if that happens. But again, thank you guys for joining us. A big day because, of course, it is a Football Friday and we'll be getting to all the picks. But before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to my friend Lindsay doing the 2021 Family Gift Assistance Project. I know we're beating over this. They're beating this thing over the head a lot. But you know what? It is the holiday season. We are now 22 days away from Christmas, which is insane to me because I feel like it was just New Year's the other day. But yeah, if you have some extra spare change, go check out Chop Sports Facebook group. The link is pinned to the top. So go help out some families in need. So again, good sports night last night, considering the Cowboys game. We'll get into it right away because the Dallas Cowboys moved to 8-4. They get the win over the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans, 27-17, one of them being a garbage touchdown at the end where the defense just looked like they fell asleep for a day. It is what it is. But there was a lot. It's a lot to uncover about the Dallas Cowboys. I know that when I left my dad's house last night, yes, were there emotions running high, me and my dad. By the way, shout out to my dad who was louder than me last night. He was getting pissed off at the fact that the Cowboys couldn't move the ball on the ground. He was pissed off at the play calling. Everything that I was basically translating on Twitter was coming vicariously through him, because he was just a very upset man. But at the end of the game, and we're watching some of the post-game interviews and stuff, and I'm about to leave the house, and he's like, I actually felt better about the Bucs loss than I do this win.
I was trying to come up with the right way to say it, but I told you there's no moral victories in football, and that was after the Bucs loss. And then there was that moral L that you took, and I was like, well, there's definitely no moral losses in football.
Right.
This one was hard to pinpoint because there's no way you came out of this one feeling great about the Cowboys, but at the end of the day, a win is a win, an ugly win at that, but on the road against the Saints team that's typically tough to play in New Orleans. Obviously, there's
a lot of Cowboys fans there last night.
Yeah, there definitely was. The Cowboys definitely traveled well, but the Saints are banged up bad right now, and the Saints, for all things considered, looked decent for as banged up as they are.
Yeah, look, Cowboys going to get it going on the ground. Kellen Moore is partially to blame. I truly didn't understand some of the play calls that was going on. I can break that down for another day because there's so much to actually uncover. Dak. There was one tweet I put out that got some serious heat from a lot of my fellow Cowboys writers. I felt like after one of the throws that Dak threw, I was like, yo, is this guy broken? Why Why couldn't he make that one? There's a couple throws where I'm like, dude, you sailed that thing.
If you listen to Dak's press conference, which I had to secondhand listen to Dak's press conference.
Oh, because I was playing it here.
Where
at the
he was
office,
just, I wouldn't say it's an excuse, but he gave his reasons for that. And it was because he's just trying to put the dagger in him.
Well, that one in particular, I'm talking about, there was one to CD, one to another out route to CD. There was a couple throws where I'm just like, Jesus, hit the guy. What are we doing here? But of course, Dak's my guy.
He's just not a good passer of the football. Bro.
Oh,
stop it. Lamar.
Stop it. Yeah. Comparing him to Lamar Jackson again. That'll be the day. And there's been a lot of discussion within Cowboys media or Cowboys fans too, is that, running the ball with Ezekiel Elliott is just not the recipe for success right now. And they should make Tony Pollard running back one. I want to clear something up for all of you Cowboy fans out there that are, or even just in general football fans. Ezekiel Elliott is a better running back than Tony Pollard. Okay. To be a complete running back, you got to do the following. You got to run the rock hard. You got to, you got to be able to, catch a ball out of the backfield, and you got to be able to pick up a blitz. Zeke Elliott is one of the best pass blockers in the league right now, right? That's why he's RB1. Tony Pollard, listen, he had an amazing run, which, by the way, the Cowboys won 71 games without a rush over 50 yards. You want to hear something crazy, though? The craziest stat about this? Obviously, you're not going to know the last 50-plus run gain from the Cowboys. It was literally the game I was talking to you and Jack about when I was out at Miller's Ale House and Alfred Morris broke it out for us.
Funny.
That is nuts, right? Even my dad looked at me. He's like, they just said that. He's like, you just said that today. I was like, I know. It's crazy. That's the last time they had a 50-plus yard run on their team. Zeke is not going to take a back seat. There's money involved, ladies and gentlemen. There is money involved. You cannot, for the life of you, justify Tony Pollard being a 3-down back. You can't do it.
If you read this comment right here, then you can justify the Zeke contract if he is, in fact, an offensive tackle. Then I understand them paying Zeke all that money.
Scoop, he's not an offensive tackle. So anyway, Scoop, look, that's fine. Ken Paulman's coming in. He's coming in saying he likes Pollard too. And look, justifiably so. Tony Pollard has burst. He's elusive. He can make moves. He's shifty. He's fast, right? But he can't pick up a block, and he can't be a 3-down back right now. There's not many of them in the league. Aaron Jones, and I'm not trying to blow the Packers here. Aaron Jones could be still a 3-down back. And I think they have Dylan, but if Dylan, I'll just throw this to you. If Dylan is out there, right, and they throw him out there and he's just trucking people over, right? You can't sit there and tell me that A.J. Dillon's a better running back than Aaron Jones. You can't do it.
No, he's not. He might be on his way to be one, but
correct.
Right now,
and that's what I'm saying. Pollard might be on his way.
I think what you see though is you need 2 running backs in the league right now because Aaron Jones, could he be a 3-down back? Yes, but he's also missing time because he can't weather the storm that the NFL season brings on these running backs. It's just hard to sustain 17 games throughout a season. So this league right now, you need 2 backs, but that's part of the reason why the Cowboys shouldn't be paying Zeke the money they are. You understand that. I know you do. But at the end of the day, he's under contract. He's on your team. So you're paying him. He's going to play. They're not going to pay a RB2 $18 million a year, whatever the fuck they're paying him.
Well, the way I see it is that they're paying. Well, I'm hearing an echo all of a sudden. Probably coming from over here. But anyway, the way I see it, that could be it too. Nope, it's still here. So anyway, it's not on my computer. It's also not. It might be in my phone, even though I shut the phone down. But it doesn't matter. As long as there's no echo into the live audience, and if there is, let me know. But when I look at Zeke Elliott and I look at him as a complete back, that's the kind of guy you need. And when Kyle brings up the contract, right? Because everybody's talking about how they just paid Zeke all this money, right? If you think about it, collectively right now, the Cowboys are paying $16 million for the running back position. Tony Pollard's not making a dime. You know what I mean? So it's just. To me, it's not that. You're not wasting all that money on a Tony Pollard or a Zeke Elliott. You're combining the two. That's the salary for the running back position. You want to talk about receiver? Same thing. Mari Cooper is making $20 million a year, right? But you're actually paying $20 million for a group of guys.
I understand where you're coming from. You could justify it, but at the end of the day, the Zeke contract is definitely bad.
Yes, the Zeke contract now, looking at it, stats-wise, is bad. All right? It doesn't look good. I don't get behind the whole, don't give running backs a second contract, but running backs, they're bred.
You got to temper your expectations. I can make a lot of cases right now why you shouldn't. Case in point is the Christian McCaffrey. I think he's played in 4 games since they gave him that $60 million extension. It's just not good business in the NFL right now. And Part of the reason why is because of the injury situation. It's like Zeke's banged up, and you could point to the reason why he's not performing well is because he's banged up. Well, I point to the fact that he's banged up as the reason why contracts are bad.
Correct. Like, look, my dad made a good point yesterday, and you know this because, we've all done fantasy football. Bro, how many running backs are active right now in week 13 out of the top 10 picks?
Bro, none.
Zeke, and that's it. And he's banged the frick up.
And Jonathan Taylor, depending on
where
he went.
Fine. But like overall, they're all hurt.
Yeah.
They're all hurt. That's nuts to me. Right. But anyway, sticking with the Cowboys for one more second. Defense balled out. Micah Parsons, my God. Micah Parsons, bro. 10 sacks in 12 pro NFL games. The guy's been here for a cup of coffee, and he's making serious strides so early in his career. I don't want to hear the comparisons to Lawrence Taylor. I don't want to hear that crap because, again, we're way too early. But, yes, he's having a phenomenal year, and I think what helped him last night was the return of D-Law. Also, I want to tell all the Cowboy fans to pump the brakes on getting on D-Law for not having sack numbers. Guys, you have to realize something. Defensive ends, yes, they're paid, and, yes, DeMarcus Lawrence's contract is, again, astronomical, but defensive ends do so much more than just sack the quarterback. There was a couple times, and we talked about it in that fumble that I thought would be a fumble, but the forward pass thing was, I don't know, I still think it was a fumble, but there's different rules. The rule is if the arm's coming forward just a little bit, it's a forward pass, blah, blah, blah. But he had that. He had another pass breakup. D-Law is going to wreck the game for you, and it might not be on the stat sheet, so it might not look sexy. And then you have Gregory coming back next week, Neville Gallimore coming back next week. There's a lot to be happy about for the Dallas Cowboys at 8-4. They're officially, before we go into the week, they're one win away from being the top seed in the NFC. But the Cardinals will probably win this week. Tampa Bay is probably going to win this week. So they're going to go in one game behind or 2 games behind the 1 seed, 1 game behind Tampa and Green Bay. So you got to feel good about the record right now in December. It is December. We had a shitty November. And, the Cowboys have a chance to make some noise. Their final 5 games, they got 2 against the Redskins. They got 1 against the Eagles, 1 against the Giants, and 1 against the Cardinals. So they actually kind of control their own when it comes to standing up head-to-head with the Cardinals because they actually play them. Again, won't get too far into the Dallas Cowboys talk. If you want to hear more, you can listen to All About the Star each and every Wednesday. I drop all my Cowboys knowledge over there, or follow me on Twitter for my 1,000% not stable tweets because they are not stable. And, shout out to Dina because I know she's watching them like as they happen. And she's got to think this guy's out of his mind. Like he's out of his goddamn mind. Like she thought Kyle and AJ and anybody who shows up at that house for a game is crazy. They probably, she ain't seen nothing yet. She ain't seen nothing. But anyway, I do feel good about the win. 8-4. Great. Get me 11 wins, Cowboys. Get me 11 wins. That means go 3-2 in your last.
The 10-7 Dallas Cowboys.
No, not 10-7 Dallas Cowboys. Oh, shout out to the Saints too, because Taysom Hill stinks, and we knew that already, right? We already everybody was like, Scoop left the studio yesterday after recording the cross court cast, and he goes, "If you lose to Taysom Hill," I said, like I'm already feeling it right now. I don't want to feel it anymore. Taysom Hill cannot do things that a normal quarterback can do. Can he run? Yes. Did he dice up the secondary and shake a couple linebackers? Sure. Did he leap over a guy? Great. But shout out to Pro Football Focus. You guys are becoming less and less credible as you go. You literally put out a tweet with the leap video, right, where he leaps over the defender, which is great. He looks awesome. But your caption and quote was, "What can't Taysom Hill do?" Well, I'm going to tell you what he can't do. He can't throw, and he can't win the game. So that's what he can't do. One more stat before I go into the rest of the slate. One more slate. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk out. I'm just gonna walk out. Yeah, I'm fired up because it's been a while. It's been a while since the Cowboys played decent football, and it's nice. Dan Quinn gets the win, right? He's the first. He's the interim head coach or the replacement, not the interim, but he's a replacement head coach for McCarthy. They're on the broadcast they keep saying like, "Oh, McCarthy's got to be going nuts." I'll ask you, Gooch, why in today's day and age, with all the technology in the world, right? Why do they make it a rule during this COVID thing where the coach can't have contact with the team? 90 minutes before, he's not allowed to talk to anybody. Why? You can set him up like a robot with a face on the sidelines and he can coach that way. There's so much technology out there. Why are they making that a rule? Like if you don't want him in the building, fine. But like to not be able to talk to your team, you're the coach of the team.
Yeah, I don't know. I that's one of those
Riddle
things.
me that.
That's one of those things where we talked about yesterday with the lockout in baseball. It's like, well, I understand them not being able to have him actually coach the game because regardless of whether you want to say technology, there's a lot that could go wrong in that spot. And you want to you got to have the game go clean. I would imagine that incorporating technology into coaching a football game is just a lot. McCarthy doesn't even know how to fucking call a timeout. You think he knows how to work fucking Zoom? I don't think so.
I'm just saying
it's
weird. And also, according to the stats, right? You know how at the end of the day, when McCarthy's done coaching, they're going to say he went such and such as the Dallas Cowboys head coach. He gets credit for that win. Figure that one out. That one's another one that just boggles my mind. Like Dan Quinn should be 1-0.
Well, it wouldn't be the first win he got credit for that he didn't deserve because he did have Aaron Rodgers.
You know, there's a lot of people. I was actually thinking about that rhetoric, that narrative. You know, that a lot of people, including my boy Ugo, who was here the other day.
It's definitely not rhetoric, and it's not really a narrative. It's a fact.
I don't know, man. You need coaching because think about it. Let's think about this for a second, okay? What you're rolling your eyes? Where am I going? Where am I going?
I thought about this because thinking about, are you going to try and prove to me that Mike McCarthy is a good coach? Like I watched this guy.
Am I going to try to prove to you that Aaron Rodgers has done jack shit without Mike McCarthy? Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Oh, really? He won an MVP.
What does that do?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
What does that do?
2 straight NFC championships. What did McCarthy
do? To him? Super Bowls are the name of the game, and the Cowboys haven't won one in 30 fucking years. I get that, but dude. What, like, I'm not justifying McCarthy being the greatest coach of all.
So you're saying that Rodgers hasn't done shit. So what has Dak done ever then? Has Dak done anything?
Have I said he's done anything?
Yes.
I'm saying he's a good quarterback. Yes. I'm not saying he's done anything.
The point that I'm making is, so McCarthy's a better coach than what has McCarthy done without Rodgers?
Nothing.
So
but he might do it with
Dak. Is there only 2 coaches and 2 quarterbacks that have done anything since? Because it's either Mahomes or Brady. There's only 2 that have done something, and then Arians and Andy Reid. So all the other quarterbacks and coaches, all the other accolades, MVP is nothing. I feel like an MVP is something.
MVP just shows you the best player in the world.
13 wins in a row, 2 straight seasons is something. Like clearly it's an Aaron Rodgers thing at this point. You're looking at the common denominator with the Packers making it deep playoff runs. I don't think it's been the coach. That's just my thing. In this case,
and I like LaFleur. So it's not like I don't think he's a good coach. I'm just giving you that argument.
I'll blame the coach more than the quarterback in the NFC Championship last year as well. So if you really want to do a comparison, we could say, well, LaFleur fell flat in the NFC title game as well, but McCarthy fell flat like 4 times, and a lot of it had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers.
Only because I don't know this off the top of my head. How many NFC Championship games did McCarthy lose?
4 or 3. 3.
So the same. How many did LaFleur lose?
2.
Okay, so they're right there. I mean, they're both getting there. It's just getting over the top. But I'm just trying to say that since McCarthy left, there's something to coaching. And I'm not saying that he's the worst coach of all time. You called for his head, just like I called for Jason Garrett's head for a decade. We literally were in parallel, right? We were in parallel dimensions, and you actually got a Super Bowl out of that. And you still don't like the guy. Which, to me, is mind-numbing. If I get 1 Super Bowl out of McCarthy for the rest of my life, I'll sign up for 1 more Super Bowl for as long as I live. For as long as I live. 1. Just 1.
Not me.
As long as all the Sturch boys are still on this planet, I want 1 more. Me, my dad, my brother, my son.
To the point that you're making is that Aaron Rodgers has done nothing.
I'm saying you're going to regards to Super Bowls.
Yeah, but like I said, then nobody's done anything. What running?
Correct. Kyle even said that. Based off my logic, nobody's done shit except for Tom Brady. That's true.
I'm gonna hold you to this. Every single time I hear it, I'm gonna be like, that doesn't matter. That doesn't count. He didn't, unless it's a Super Bowl, it doesn't count. So that's
but let's talk about this for a second. What counts when in the grand scheme of things in the world of football? Yes, MVPs are great, and that just shows that you're the best player in the world.
I'm going to tell you what counts as a fan. To me, is hope. Having hope counts, right? And I think that
you're talking to me,
of course. So what counts is going into a season is basically bringing up your chances. Like if you're looking at it like, okay, they have a 40% chance with McCarthy. If they have LaFleur, I think they have a 50% chance. We'll just put it like that. I think he increases their chances. I think McCarthy, honestly, I think that he puts you in situations late in games where crucial decisions that he makes cost you games, right?
I've seen the whole time management shit. I've seen it and I've gotten mad at it. But I almost consider you a little spoiled. You know, you had McCarthy and won every year, 100%.
Well,
winning teams.
Spoiled. No, we did nothing. According to you. So we had winning teams.
I'm saying you have that hope, right? You never had to go into a season like, oh man, I don't know.
Yeah. And I would always go into the season like, oh, this is a really good roster. And then I'd be like, but McCarthy's going to fuck it up at the end. And guess what? 99% of the time he did. Bro, we had an 18-point lead against Seattle in the NFC Championship game deep into the fourth quarter.
I wonder if
we didn't lose that game because Aaron Rodgers decided to hand the ball off 31 times in the fourth quarter.
I wonder if Dan Quinn was having like Super Bowl like vibes last night. Like, do you realize what was happening? The Dallas Cowboys were still throwing the ball up and they were like not winning the game. My dad was like, this is the 28-3 game. You know what I mean? Like, this is Dan Quinn worried. And he goes, wasn't he the head coach? I was like, yeah, he was. He's like, well, I was like, and me and him are blaming the coordinator, and they blame Shanahan.
Talking about Dan Quinn, he was also the head coach against the Cowboys when that little fucking dumb onside kick that they recovered last year. Wasn't he the offensive coordinator, or wasn't he the coach of the Falcons at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he came back on like 30 times last year in 5 games. 30 times in 5 games. Set the record.
Anyway, a little heated there. Let's dry off a little bit. I'm sweating here.
Oh, wait, this is a good one.
What?
And the honest answer is absolutely not.
Here's the question from Kyle Kerms. Honest question: do you guys think Mike McCarthy can creatively outsmart other head coaches with game plans right now? Answer honestly. I think last night's game in particular, we missed Mike McCarthy because of this. And I'll say this, and it's not Mike McCarthy is the greatest coach of all time. I'm saying that when Kellen Moore calls a play, it's got to go through McCarthy's headset, right? And he has to say, if he wants to object and say, that's not going to fucking work. What are you doing? Let's try something else, right? Before the play call goes in, he's got to approve it, right? Last night, there was nobody to approve Kellen Moore. Dan Quinn's not like, I don't like power. I also think, let's not run power again. He's doing nothing.
Just to touch on Kellen Moore a little bit, I think he's hurting his chances. I think that going into the month of November, Kellen Moore was one of those candidates where you're like, oh, he's about to get a head coaching job. I think that he kind of poured a little cold water on that himself with his play calling over the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, and like I said, he had nobody to overrule him last night, which made it even look worse. You know, think about that. Think about that actual thing. Like, at least McCarthy would say, like, you know, I'm sure there was a couple times where, you know, the Zerline kicks a 55-yarder last night, 56-yarder, and I'm screaming, go for it. And I'm sure McCarthy was at home saying, what are we doing? Go for it.
McCarthy had no idea what to do in that situation. He was probably just like, he probably went to the bathroom or pretended like he didn't know what was happening.
Just like, oh, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. We make it?
He doesn't know. How many challenges do we have left?
16. All right. So anyway, we are all over this Cowboy game. And of course, there's a lot to talk about because we are here on a Football Friday. Let's take a break. We want to thank you guys for joining us. There's a hot crowd right now. A lot of new faces, and it's very, very appreciated. Let's take a break real quick. We'll come back with the full NFL slate with our picks. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? After last night's pick, I am 1 game behind Gucci right now. 1 game, and I'm about to take the lead. So we're coming back right after this. You know, myself and Gooch are both getting a little older. One of the first things to go is your vision. Thank goodness for our hookup over at Absolute Eyewear in Woodbridge, New Jersey, right on Main Street next to the train station. They have glasses for all ages, all budgets. They have safety glasses, sports glasses. They are a full-service powerhouse offering eye exams and even free lenses for the kids. They work with BCBS, AAA, AARP, giving massive discounts. They're open 5 days a week, closed on Wednesdays and Sundays. Call 732-326-3937 to get your first pair of Ray-Ban, Burberry, Coach, Polo, you name it, they got it. Go see Craig and Johnine right now. All right, welcome back to the show. It is a feel-good football victory Friday for me, but just a normal. Actually, it's a victory Friday for you too, Gooch, because you don't have to do anything and you get to relax this Sunday. We both get to relax this Sunday. So, and I know our AC plan is going to happen, or that's
I don't know. I haven't talked to Joe.
Okay,
I'll talk to him tonight.
Okay.
Today.
Well, in any event, it's time to pick some games because there's a full slate besides the Cowboys beating the Saints. We start with the local team. Okay. The New York Football Giants, 4-7 going into this one. They're on the road going to Miami. Miami has won a bunch of games in a row so far. What are we looking around?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm like, is there a fly? They've won a bunch of games so far in a row. They're playing a lot better football. The spread is just 2.5 though, so they're giving some respect.
No. It's 4.5. I don't know. I fucked that.
Okay, 4.5. That's a little bit more of a challenge here. So I'll throw this one to you first. Does Daniel Jones and company get it done on the road, or is look, they're coming off a big feel-good win last week, right? A big feel-good win, taking out the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you very much, New York Giants. But now they go on the road into trying to take their talents to Miami. I don't know if this is actually going to happen, though. What do you think?
I don't see the Giants winning 2 straight at this point. Going into Miami, Miami has a little momentum going. Tua is playing better. I think that he's finally starting to get a little healthier. And the point spread is a little iffy to me, but I just don't think that the Giants are good enough at football right now. They're banged up on both sides of the ball. And even when they're healthy, they're just not a good blocking team. I think Miami in this one. Although I do think that it could be more of a shootout. The over-under is really low. I don't know. I mean, I understand why it's that low. I just have a feeling that this game is going to be a little bit of a shootout because Miami can't cover, and the Giants are probably going to be throwing the ball because of what else they're going to do. They can't block. I don't know. I'm trying to handicap this game, but looking at it, I think the Dolphins, the home team, I'll lay the points.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points as well. The Giants did me a nice solid last night, making the Philadelphia Eagles look a little shittier than they actually are, which actually could be true after this week. Who knows? But I will also be riding with the Miami Dolphins on this one. They are hot. The fish are hot right now, according to Kyle Kerms. So if that's a little, wink, wink, Kyle might be picking the Dolphins. I'm sure that's where he's going with his picks, but go check out kylekerms.com for all his VIP picks as we go on.
I'm going to start doing this when I'm making my picks and I'm not sure. I'm just going to talk unsure of myself for a little bit and keep on reading the comments. And then when Kyle drops one in hot fish, okay,
fair.
That's
handicapping the handicap.
I mean, I feel like you kind of do that with me sometimes.
What? I wait for your pick?
No, you don't wait for my pick, but you hear my analysis and maybe my analysis may change your mind. I think that you've actually admitted that that's happened in a game. And I think it was as recent as like 2 weeks ago where you were like, I was going to pick this, but hearing what you're saying about it, I'm actually going to switch.
You swayed me. Yeah. One time. So sticking with the NFC East and the New York team all in one, the New York Jets back home to face the Philadelphia Eagles. The Jets coming in a whopping 3-8. They get their win last week over the Texans. And of course, we just talked about the Eagles losing to the Giants. So this one is interesting because, again, the Jets are 6.5-point dogs at home. Zach Wilson, I don't know, man. I'll pick this one first so you don't think I'm piggybacking off of you. The Philadelphia Eagles were broken last week. They decided to abandon the running game and have Jalen Hurts throw. I don't think that's a smart decision. I think they cleaned it all up. But I don't know, man. I for whatever reason, I feel like Zach Wilson, one game under his belt from his return, Robert Saleh, that team's playing good, feeling good about themselves, and then they get the disrespect slap right in the face. You're 6.5-point dogs at home. Give me the Jets. Give me the Jets at home, 6.5.
I'm going to take the Eagles in this one because of the fact that they blow out teams that they should blow out. The Eagles, they do shut it down when it comes to any team like Detroit that they blew away. I think there's a couple games where they were heavier favorites and they showed up in those games where they need this game because the NFC playoff picture, they're in the thick of it. The Jets are not, and they're going into a place where they're comfortable. They've played a ton of games at that stadium, so that locker room is familiar. Did they even play there last week? Is it 2 weeks in a row that they don't really have to travel? So it's like a home away
like a bus
game.
Ride.
Yeah, they played at the Giants last week as well. Did they not? Or was that in Philly?
I believe that was in Philly.
Are you sure? I think it was in New York or New Jersey.
Oh, your brother was there. Yeah, it was definitely in New York.
So the Eagles basically haven't had a road trip in over a month, so they could be nice and rested up, no jet lag, going into a comfortable place. I like what they do on both sides of the ball in terms of stopping the run and blocking, and I think it's Jalen Hurts, get right. I'm going to fucking start him in fantasy, and he's going to get me a ton of points.
All right, Julian Forkert coming in saying, I believe in Hurts. That might be an Eagles fan. I'm not sure. But look, Hurts has made some plays. He's flashed a lot of skill. But again, when he has to make a quick decision or he's just not accurate. He's just not accurate. And here is Kyle Kerbs, the sauce himself, giving us a little extra. 93% of the money on the Eagles. Most books have actually moved this to 7.
See, that does scare me a little bit because I do fade the public, but these games, man, I just don't believe in the Jets. Either I just stay away from this one completely or I put my money on the Eagles.
Well, you're picking the Eagles, and which I believe is just you picking the Eagles for like every week except for one. I think you pick the Eagles.
I've been pretty on
You've
the
been
money
on the Eagles for a little while,
and honestly, I pick them I pick against them sometimes when they lose.
A team that could be dead in the water, which I believe is absolutely true. The Seattle Seahawks. I don't know what they're even playing for at this point. Russell Wilson looks out of sorts. Pete Carroll looks like bitch because I just don't like Pete Carroll.
They're in tank mode so the Jets could get a better draft pick.
Unbelievable,
That's
right?
what they're doing.
Unbelievable. Same record as the New York Jets. They're taking on one of the teams I think are going to make a serious run if they continue to run the rock the way they've been doing it, and Jimmy Garoppolo managing it a little better.
How serious of a run do you think that they're going to make a serious enough run as to where they get a win in the postseason?
I think they're
going to overtake the 5 seed and then win a playoff game?
No, because
not that far.
Not that far, because that'll be a Dallas Cowboys game in which, again, I tell you, and I tell Greg all the time, or one of my best friends, I'm like, yeah, we're just not friends. And of course, he's the one that comes out and says, oh, so we're gonna book a flight, right? I couldn't fathom, unless I lived in Texas, I couldn't fathom buying a flight to a playoff game and losing. Like I don't know if I don't know.
Have you seen your team lose on the road? Like traveled there to watch a loss?
Yes.
Yeah, it was tough.
It's tough because that flight is lonely.
But what I did was, it was the week 1 game against San Fran where they lost. But then I also had tickets to the following week, which was a Thursday night game against Chicago, and they picked.
You stayed a whole week for 2 games?
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
It was great. But you go in on Saturday, and it was just a 7-day vacation with 2 games in it,
dude.
So
that's ideal. That is absolutely ideal. I should probably. Yeah, maybe next Thanksgiving I'll take a ride out to that, or take a flight out to Dallas, watch the Thanksgiving Day game, and then they usually play the Thursday night after.
That's a dicey one.
What?
Because the Dallas Cowboys just suck on Thanksgiving.
I've watched 2 Thanksgiving Day game wins in Dallas. That for me, the mojo is there if I'm in there. But anyway, that's a great plan to get out there and do that. But anyway, speaking of this 49er team, they're coming in red hot. I don't care what the hell the spread is. The 49ers are going on the road, and they're beating the Seahawks this week. That's my pick.
Yeah, 49ers. Seahawks can't do anything well. Russ, I want to say that Russ will eventually figure it out, but until I see it, I'm not going to put anything on him.
I'm with it. Eli Mitchell doing money things over there. And here we go. 97 of the money is going on San Francisco until and it still drops. Something going on here. Well, again, they're completely, Kenneth Coleman, knocking out the Cowboys as the 5th seed. Not a chance, Ken. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know what the Seahawks are really doing with the rest of their season. Do we get Geno Smith? Like is Russ done cooking? You know what I mean? Like,
is there an injury in San Fran that we're not hearing about?
I don't know. But here's another question I have about San Francisco before we get on to the next game. With Jimmy G doing what he's doing, which is basically Alex Smith.
The more I look at this game, the more I like Seattle, if I'm being honest.
Are you switching?
I'm going to change my pick.
You're changing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The more I think about this, it's like right now is when you think Seattle's completely dead, and they probably are, but I feel like there's a lot of pride on the line for them, and they do have a locker room full of veterans. So there is a chance. And the 49ers, they've been playing better, but it's not – Debo's hurt. That might be the thing. No Debo changes a lot.
Debo's been doubtful all week. So
Debo's not playing. I think it's like a guarantee that
that's what I'm saying. Doubtful means pretty much out without saying out.
Well, that might be the reason why all the money's going on the Niners and they're just not buying it. They want people to keep on betting the 49ers. So I'm going to ride with Vegas on this one, and I'm going to take Seattle.
All right, do it. Moving on to the next game. What do we got here? Oh, and that's what I was going to bring up before. With Jimmy G playing the way he is, right? 6-5, and let's just say get the 5th or the 6th, whatever, right? Is that enough to kind of put the Trey Lance thing to bed for a little while and maybe trade him off?
Trade who off?
Trey Lance?
Trey Lance is the quarterback of the future. They're not trading Trey Lance.
What if Jimmy G has one of these years?
But the Trey Lance thing has been put to bed for this season. I think
yes. But I'm saying going forward, what are they gonna do?
They're gonna have to have a quarterback competition and see how it plays out. And then if anything, Jimmy G becomes expendable. But as the seasons go on, Jimmy G's contract is going to be a lot less. I wouldn't say of a hit because as seasons go on, the quarterback contracts grow. So then you're looking at Jimmy G, and he won't be one of the top 10 paid quarterbacks. I believe he is now, which is fucking insane.
Right.
But I don't think that Trey Lance is going to go anywhere.
Okay.
They drafted him 3rd.
All right. But listen, we've seen crazier things. Look at the Cardinals did. They drafted Josh Rosen and got rid of him a year later. So we've seen crazier things. All right, Pittsburgh. Got to get off the schneid here. They're 5-5-1 coming into this one. They're hosting the Baltimore Ravens. The Pittsburgh Steelers in that environment are home dogs right now by 4.5. You got the Baltimore Ravens coming off their ugly win against the Browns. This is a division game. This is big time game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? The Ravens have wiggle room. The Ravens can actually drop a game here and there and probably still be okay, right? But if they want to hold on to the 1 seed, what?
The Bengals are hot on that ass with a win over them.
Understood. But I'm saying, like, if you're going to lose a game, like, it needs to happen around now-ish.
Well, they play Green Bay. They play Green Bay the following week. So this is a big one for Baltimore for sure.
All right. So where are you going with the pick?
I think that it's a lot of disrespect going into Pittsburgh, giving them 4.5 points. I would imagine that there's a lot of guys that have a lot of pride, same as Seattle, on Pittsburgh, and they're not dead yet. So Pittsburgh is in the thick of it, and they're definitely playing for their playoff lives in this one. And it's a division rival, their biggest rival, arguably the most entertaining rivalry in football right now. I mean, it has
Used
been
to be so much better back in the day.
It used to be, but look, believe me, when these guys strap it up, they're definitely thinking about those games.
The Heinz
the
Wards
coaches are buying. The coaches,
Ray Lewis.
And here's the thing: the coaching staffs have stayed the same. So there's definitely some deep, bitter rivalry here. Definite hatred. I think guys like TJ Watt step up, and I think Pittsburgh wins this game outright. Baltimore, you look at their record, they're 8-3, but they're 4-7 against the spread. They've scrapped through a lot of these games where they didn't really play great football. And there's something to be said for that. But against a division rival like this, there's no way I'm laying the 4.5 points. The Ravens just haven't done enough for me.
I'm 1000% with you. I've said it since Jump Street that Lamar Jackson, despite the fact that he threw, 4 interceptions, that the Ravens are a gritty team and they got that one done, right? But the Cleveland Browns right now are not looking good on offense, and their defense is okay. But I'm not sold on Baltimore just yet, but I am sold on desperation. I am sold on Mike Tomlin. I'm sold on the Pittsburgh Steelers getting this one done in Pittsburgh. How dare you make them home dogs at, I almost said, what was it? Three Rivers Stadium at one point? I almost said at Three Rivers, Heinz Field, right? How dare you make them underdogs? Pittsburgh Steelers win this game outright. Congratulations to Ken Paulman. Ken Paulman's going to get that win. Here's another update from, that's from him. Sorry. Also, Dolphins clapped Lamar. Okay. Well, yeah, you're right. So if TJ Watt has anything to do with this, it's going to be tough sledding going forward. Let's move on. What do we got now? We got a big game in my regard because I need this game like I needed last week's Giants game against the Eagles. The Las Vegas Raiders, coming off their win on Thanksgiving Day over my beloved Cowboys, get back home to take on the Washington football team. The Washington football team, in which have won a lot of games in a row. I believe they're 5-6, not 4-6. So that was just a glitch on the graphics error there. But they're 5-6. They've won a lot of games. Taylor Heineke doing things that a lot of people are comparing to a early Brett Favre, where he's just improvising and getting him in there. And listen, I'm not calling him Brett Favre. Gooch, calm down. I'm saying what he does, the style of play, the gunslinger. You know what? I'll make a better comparison. Ready? Tony Romo. That work for you?
No.
Okay. So the Raiders are back home to take on the Washington football team. Gooch, what say you, bro?
I've been riding with the Raiders all year, and this is an interesting one because I've also kind of had this love affair with the Washington football team.
You don't have a love affair. You picked them to win 12 games.
Well, no, I do. I picked them to win 12 games because I liked a lot of what I saw on their roster. And honestly, they're starting to at least turn it up a little bit. They're not going to get to the 12-point game, 12-win mark, but I do think that there's a chance that they can make that push in the NFC because we always talk about how wide open that last spot is. I mean, maybe even the last two at this point. But on the road, the Raiders, they're also in the thick of it. So this has got a lot of playoff implications. This is a tough one for me, Kyle. You're gonna
start delaying.
You're gonna drop any knowledge in here,
dude.
No, I'm gonna go with the Washington football team.
Okay,
they don't stop the run well, and let's get Antonio Gibson going.
All right, that'll be your pick. That's fine. I am going with the Las Vegas Raiders to win this game. Why? Because of what I just watched, literally 10 days ago or whatever it was, 8 days ago on Thanksgiving.
I feel like Kyle's got this on his VIP list, so he's just gonna shut his mouth.
That's fine too. Yep, he says I'm remaining silent. So that's on his VIP list, obviously, kylekerms.com for that. Or just get it free if you're you and me. So maybe, I don't know. We don't ask for things, but if Kyle wants to send us his VIP ticket, that's fine. You might pay for it. I don't know. I don't, but I should. But anyway, I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders here. The reason being is I think they have what it takes to derail a hot team like the Washington football team. Heineke has been fun to watch, right? But let's call it how it is. He's going to be a journeyman backup. Derek Carr is that guy. After watching an interview with him last week, I firmly believe, and yes, we've made fun of him time and time again because he loves all his players and he's just, he's just a good dude. He's going to get this done. I think the Raiders win this one. I know that's not a lot of analysis there, but I'm giving you the Raiders because I think they just stay hot.
I'm also basing it off of that speech I heard Ron Rivera give his team after the game last week. They're on their way.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's see if they're on their way because they got to get past the.
They're on their way to get dumped in the first round,
just like last year. But it won't be against Tom Brady. It'll be against Aaron Rodgers. But anyway,
it'll be against Arizona. The Packers are definitely getting the 1 seed.
I love the confidence. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So another game the spread is ridiculous. Okay. These are the games that Kyle Kerms typically stays away from because of the fact that it's such a big spread. The Rams got to get right, man. I mean, look, if this is the team that everybody's talking about as being the super team and, adding Odell and you're grabbing the defense and who's going to score on us, blah, 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 blah. They've done jack shit in the last 3 weeks, right? They're taking on a Jaguars team who has also done jack shit, but that's been the entire, story for them for 2021. The spread is 13. Do you, Gooch, in your heart of hearts, think that the Los Angeles Rams can beat the Jaguars by 2 touchdowns, considering how they played? You watched them, obviously a lot closer than me last week, considering they just played your Packers.
Honestly, I haven't seen anything out of I've seen more out of Jacksonville in the last 10 quarters of football plus, maybe even 12 quarters of football. How about this? In the Rams case, they haven't done shit in 14 quarters of football. But I've seen more out of Jacksonville in terms of being able to cover a point spread than I've seen out of the Rams. I don't buy in on the Rams right now. I'm sorry. I just don't. The Jaguars stopped the run well. I know that McVay is committed to the run, but simply put, I just don't think the Rams are playing physical enough up front on both sides of the ball. They have a lot of the names on defense. They're banged up on offense. I don't think Odell's going to go in this one, and if he does, he'll be limping around,
half man,
making
half
a big
season.
show. I definitely don't like the money line at plus 495, but taking 13 points with a team like the Rams. The reason why I like Jacksonville in this game is because the first thing that I think when I see this without looking at the point spread is like, oh, the Rams are going to blow them away. It doesn't even matter what the point spread is, but that's what they want you to think. They put it under 2 touchdowns, just under 2 touchdowns. I don't think that the Rams are a good football team right now. They're going to have to prove it to me for me to get back on board.
I think the Rams are definitely reeling right now. But my biggest concern right now for the Los Angeles Rams is Matt Stafford. Okay. Everybody was picking him. I believe AJ picked him to win MVP. Okay?
I mean, that wasn't a bad
not
pick
a bad pick
early
when you
in
look
the
at this
season.
one. On the surface, you looks at it and you're like, oh, that's not so terrible. But Matt Stafford has played bad football. He's played Detroit Lion type football out here in Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, they built this team around him. And don't get me wrong, bro. There is a lot of talent out there in LA. Cooper Kupp, to me, is the top 3 receiver in football right now. Okay, that's where I feel he is. The running game obviously took a hit in the beginning of the season, but they've been doing okay, right? But Matt Stafford, if you put this game on him, I think the Rams win this game, but I don't think they got the power to just bully anybody. I really don't. Not after the last couple of weeks of watching them play. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure Sean McVay is going to, Sean McVay. Why did I think Scott? Sean. Why? Sean, right? I don't know. Brain fart. But I think Sean McVay will probably dial up some juicy plays, right, for the Rams to look like world beaters at first. But then, again, you're right. The durability of this team, it doesn't last. I got the Jaguars with the points. Give me all of them points. Scoop, get the money line right now. Go ahead. Put your first week's salary of Chop Sports Podcast Network over on the Jaguars money line. Cash in and make some money. So. And then by saying that,
I would love to see Jalen Ramsey get scorched by fucking the teenage girl quarterback, right?
That would be fantastic.
His old team.
All right. We got the Texans coming off a very bad loss. They're going home to play the Indianapolis Colts, who are also coming off a loss in which a lot of shit was talked about, about them by Tom Brady afterwards. You know what I mean? Like this game has the looks and the feel, and I'll pick it first. The looks and the feel of showing you who the Colts can potentially be on offense. Jonathan Taylor's rolling. Carson Wentz isn't playing shitty anymore. And of course, they got Michael Pittman Jr., T.Y. Hilton's getting involved. Even Jack Doyle scored last week. The Colts, I believe, are going to starch this Texans team, and the Texans will. Actually, no matter what the record states, the Texans are worse than the Lions. I don't give a shit what the record says. The Texans are worse than the Lions. Give me the Colts -10 on the road in Houston. Gooch, what say you, bro?
For the same reasons why I don't like the Rams, I do like the Colts in this one because the Colts do everything well. They're physical on both sides of the ball. They're a very mistake-free football team, and they're going to force some turnovers with Darius Leonard. He punches the ball out like 3 times a game. Have you seen what he does? It's insane.
It's punches.
It's absolutely
it's like
insane. He's the best I've ever seen at it. And
Peanut Tillman was the one who invented it.
Well, Charles Woodson's better than Peanut Tillman, but that's another conversation.
But
they
the thing is, call it the Tillman punch.
I don't give a fuck what they call it. Charles Woodson, I could guarantee you, has more strips than Tillman does.
Ooh,
actually, that's close.
Scoop, look that up, please. Thank you very much.
But you know what else it was? Charles Woodson was a sure tackler. Tillman would literally miss tackles just trying to strip.
Just trying to punch. Correct.
So, and look, as far as who's the better player, one's a Hall of Famer, one's not going to sniff it. So The Colts are really good. Darius Leonard's
so
like
offended.
Darius Leonard's might be the strongest man in football with that.
He
with
is
that
what do they call him? The freak?
That,
No, they
that
call him
punch tackle. I don't know what they
monster.
call him. I call him the fucking a beast. He's an absolute
He is
beast.
a beast.
He's gonna wreck this game for the Texans. I don't know what they're gonna be able to do. I feel bad for poor little Brandon Cooks over there.
Oh, wait. You just said little Brandon Cooks. Do you know that there's a guy in the Saints with the first name Lil?
No.
Yeah, like Lil something. I forget. Oh my God, that just sparked it in my head. I went on Twitter. I'm like, is this guy name really Little something? And I was corrected right away. And they're like, nah, it's Lil, like Lil. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like what goes through
that's
your mind?
the point that I was about to make, and Kyle's making it for me in the comments. Whereas if you like the Colts in this game, I would say as soon as you hear me talking about this, as soon as this podcast is over, because definitely don't leave, go bet the Colts now, because that line is going to definitely climb, and I'm going to do that. I said it to you before the show. I said as soon as the show ends, I'm going to go in and make my bet on the Colts.
Lil Jordan Humphrey. That's his name. That's his real name. Like that's his birth. I'm probably not his birth name, but his name on his license. It's amazing. I was like, I'm like, why do they like Aikman and Buck and everybody were like, yeah, Lil. I'm like, why do they keep doing that? What a stupid, like, what a nickname. Like, yeah, we get it. He's short, but like, is his name? I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, so we're both on the Colts here. Staying in a very, very important game for two teams right now. This is probably one of the games of the week, I think. The Cincinnati Bengals are playing really good football again after kind of sliding a little bit. You know, they lose to the Jets. Everybody's starting to talk bad about them again. Oh, same old Bengals. They've rattled off a couple wins. They're looking impressive. They're 3-point favorites on the traveling Los Angeles Chargers. I don't ever like the whole West Coast to East Coast thing, even though I think this is Central Time. But the Chargers are kind of reeling, and they're in must-win mode. Okay, they got to win to stay relevant because, look, the Chiefs are going to win games, and the Raiders are going to continue to win some games to stay relevant. And the Broncos, I mean, I know I can't really write them in as a contender per se, but that AFC West is so competitive that the Chargers in an AFC game, they got to have this one. Do they get it, Gooch?
I'm not quite so sure that they're going to get it. I love this quarterback matchup with Herbert and Burrow. That's fun. It's definitely the game of the week. We're going to see some future playoff matchups out of these two, I would imagine, because they're both going to be there for a long time. I'm going to take the home team in this one. It really is a toss-up. The point spread is perfect. There's nothing fishy about this whatsoever.
No.
The Chargers, they do a lot of things poorly. I'm taking Cincinnati because Joe Mixon's coming on right now. And if there is one thing that the Chargers struggle with, it's stopping the run. I just think that right now Cincinnati stops the run well. Eckler has been playing really well, but he's not the pure runner. He's not the pure runner that Joe Mixon is. I just think that the Bengals are rolling right now. So
Kyle Kerms chiming in saying the Bengals Chargers game, tough game to pick, probably the biggest coin flip of the week. So that's true. We'll see. Moving on, the Bears. They're going back at home. They're going to be 7.5-point dogs to what I'm assuming is Kyler Murray and D-Hop are back in this game. They've been like game time decisions for the last 2 weeks. Another week of rest, you got to assume they're playing, and that's why this spread is the way it is. Now, if for whatever reason they're ruled out, this would be a really good time to pick the Bears, because if they're ruled out last minute, like they've been the last 2 weeks.
I think that they've been practicing and everything.
That's fine. They were practicing the week before too. They were.
I understand, but they weren't. They were doing drills and shit in practice. They weren't taking reps with the first team.
This is an exciting one via the quarterback matchup. I think it's an exciting Justin Fields versus Kyler Murray.
Playing?
Oh, that's another thing. You're right. Could be Andy Dalton. I don't know. I know Jay Silverberg is watching, and if you could chime in, I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to the Bears right now. But again, 4-7 record. Hosting the Cardinals. The Cardinals coming in 9-2, and obviously with a win, they remain on top of the NFC for the one and only bye that's given out. It's a 7.5-point spread. It's a hard one to toss. I know, obviously, we both think the Cardinals will probably win this game, but do they cover the 7.5 against A, Justin Fields, B, Andy Dalton? Either way, who do you think, Gooch?
I want to pick the Bears to win because this is like obviously right now I'm shifting my allegiance to the Bears because right now the Cardinals are more in my division than the Bears are. I would love to see Chicago. I would love to see Chicago pull this out. It's just that when I root for teams in my division, things don't typically go well. I know that has no bearing on the actual game, just my own personal experience. Chicago's not going to win this game. Especially if Justin Fields doesn't play.
I think we're getting reports that it's Andy Dalton.
I don't know that makes them even better at this point, but in terms of this game and the team speed that the Arizona defense has, I feel like that'll help Chicago because he could just kind of do things that obviously Andy Dalton can't. But right now, Arizona was playing well enough to win to go 2-1 without their star receiver and quarterback. If they do get them back, Chicago's defense has played better this year than they have in the past couple of years. But I'm just saying that Arizona is a really good team, and they go in and they beat up on Chicago.
Yeah, I think with the return of both of these guys, obviously Hopkins and Murray, that the Cardinals are a really, really good and fun offense to watch. Hopefully they won't be fun the rest of the way. I keep trying to tell myself that this team is going to fold eventually, and maybe in the bigger games they will. But this right now is not a bigger game. It's in Soldier Field, and it's against a Bears team that are kind of going nowhere fast under Coach Nagy. I'm going to go with the Cardinals simply for that. They're going to kind of stay on top of the NFC and cruise in this one. The Atlanta Falcons, 5-6 right now, who are technically, quote, in the hunt in the NFC, are taking on and going home to face Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a massive spread. Again, the Falcons are 10.5-point dogs at home. To me, when these spreads come out like this, I'm always like, that's too high for the road dogs. But like, I truly think, there's nothing stopping the Bucs right now. Not a fake vaccination card can stop and derail this team. They're going to win this game outright. I think they're going to crush the Falcons, and I think it's back to reality for Matty Ice and company. What do you say, Gooch?
I think that reality is pretty evident over there in Atlanta. They're the 32nd ranked offense in the league. I know that they've had a bright spot with Cordarrelle Patterson. That's about the only thing that I could see happening over there in Tampa. I think that they even listed him as a reserve safety now. He said that his goal this year is to also get a pick. Jesus. I have a feeling he's going to get one because Brady does throw a lot. If he does play this game, I think
he'll get one on clearly like overrated or something.
Brady's clearly overrated.
Obviously.
I'm not going to pick the Bucs because they've played down to their opponents this year. Personally, I've seen them not cover too many times. They're 5-6 against the spread. Atlanta's 5-6 against the spread. 10.5 is a big number for a home team in a division game. Even though Atlanta hasn't done shit, I'm going to go with Atlanta because fuck Tom Brady.
Okay. That's a good explanation. I want to say I actually am crossing off the Bucs here for you because I really thought you were going with Tom Brady here, but you're taking the points. I dig it. All right, 2 more to pick. This game is garbage. The Detroit Lions are staying home since Thanksgiving, almost pulling one out on Thanksgiving, but not. They are 0-10-1 with the old kiss your sister tie, and of course the Minnesota Vikings 5-6 are, quote, again, in the hunt. And they just got, a game that they could have had, didn't get. Wait, did they win last week?
Minnesota?
Minnesota.
No, they lost to San Fran.
That's right. I was going to say they could have had it, but San Fran just ran all over them. So I've tried it a couple times this year. I tried it. I don't really care who the starting quarterback is. I'll just ride with this because I want to shock you a couple times as far as like trying to gain a couple wins. I know you're definitely not taking the Lions here. I'm taking the Lions +7 at home.
As much as I want to take the Lions because the Vikings are laughable, and I say that because with a deep-rooted hatred in my heart for the Vikings. If you saw this week on Barstool, I think Big Cat posted his top 10 teams under 500, and the Vikings are first on that list. So I'm waiting for the Vikings this week. They're going to announce that they're going to hang a banner. It's like the biggest thing that they've done other than beating Green Bay in the regular season at home in about 15 fucking years. So congrats to Minnesota. You're the best team under 500 in football. They are desperate because the NFC playoff picture, they're right in the thick of it. And Detroit does suck. So I'm going to pick Minnesota because they need the game, and Detroit, I don't know what they need besides everything.
But shout out to CBS, by the way. What you did to that poor intern, and I hope you're paying him. They actually put out a graphic yesterday for the 0-10-1 Lions path to the playoffs. They're technically not mathematically eliminated, and they made some poor schmuck actually go week by week of each and every game that needs to happen, and they have to obviously win out and finish, what would it be, 6-10-1 to make the playoffs? Like, shame on you, CBS. You better be paying that kid a lot of money because that's garbage. Don't make that kid do that ever again. The Lions are obviously not a playoff team, but this is their last chance, I think, and Kyle agrees with me. This might be their last chance to actually win a game this year. So we'll end it with the Sunday night football thriller.
They're not going to win a game this year, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, well, this game was flexed to Sunday night, actually, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs back home in Arrowhead to take on the 6-5 Denver Broncos. The Broncos are coming into this one, feeling themselves a little bit. They're playing better football. They have a couple convincing wins, a couple wins that were like, okay, that worked out well for them. This game right here, is for all the marbles for them to even say that we're relevant, right? So if they lose this game, forget it. You're 6-6 and you're 2 games back with 5 to play. You're out. To me, that means you're out. The spread is heavy.
And if they win this game, they could be sitting atop the division, which is fucking crazy.
Correct, which is nuts. It's like very doom and gloom, like very good and then very, very bad with the result of this game. I don't know about the number. It's a 9.5 point spread. The Chiefs are heavy favorites. The Broncos have shown that they can win games and compete with decent teams. They beat up on the Cowboys and again, the Broncos are playing football here. I mean, I kind of want to lay off and let hear your pick and go opposite way, but I'm going to say that the Broncos, their defense is playing well. They're couple pick sixes, couple good plays. I'm going to ride this money here. I'm going to ride this line of 9.5 for the Broncos to keep this one relevant. Maybe a garbage touchdown in the end for the backdoor cover.
With this game right here, you're starting to see the Chiefs get some respect back. I don't know why they even have respect in terms of covering point spreads. They definitely have been abysmal. If you're dating back to last year, I think Pat Mahomes went 0-11 and then finally got 4 wins this year against the point spread. But if you're looking at it as a whole, it's 4-17 or 4-16 or something. It's crazy.
That's incredible.
The Chiefs just haven't covered point spreads, and they are playing a lot better. They were a team that we were looking at as a complete disaster, especially defensively, until they played the Giants and they played Jordan Love, and they kind of fixed things, but they blitz a ton. And I think that the key to stopping the blitz isn't necessarily even beating the blitz with the passer. It's just running the ball straight at them. And that's what Denver's going to do with the 2-headed monster.
Melvin Gordon might be out, just so we know.
Even better, because then I get Javonte Williams as a fucking, in every fantasy league that I own him in, which is every single fucking one. Then I get Javonte Williams to be the bell cow. And I really am interested to see what that guy could do with a full workload. I almost said a full load, but
okay. Pause.
Yeah, I just think that the running game is going to be the biggest kryptonite for this Kansas City Chiefs team, stopping them from blitzing every play, because you just can't when they're running at you that way. I'm going to go with I think the Chiefs will win this game, but Denver is going to make it interesting. And they do have a shot to just completely shock everybody and go into Arrowhead and win the game. But I like the Chiefs to win. I'm going to take Denver with the points. I will also take the under in this game for a fact.
All right. 92% of the money, according to Kyle Kerms, is on Denver. Books dropped it from 10 to 9.5. This is an interesting one. Money is on the underdog. I like it. Fun games to bet. Yes. This is it's a division game. They're going to keep it close. They're absolutely going to keep it close. And I don't see, one of these greatest show on grass type situations where it's just Mahomes and Tyreek Hill have a field day. That secondary of the Broncos is good.
I will say this though, we haven't gotten one of those games in a really long time where the Chiefs just fucking run you off the field immediately.
I don't think this is the week.
There's a chance, because of the magnitude of the game and the experience that the Chiefs bring to the table, they could just come out and be like, you know what, we're going to take over this division today. And there's a chance that happens.
Could be.
The Chargers have a tough game. The Raiders have a tough game. So there's a chance that whoever wins this game is going to be the lone winner in the AFC West. And that's huge. So big game. Fucking game.
And that's a Sunday nighter.
And they're going to know what happened going into it. So they're going to have
that extra, a little extra kick. Just imagine the Broncos are sitting in their locker rooms and they realize the Raiders just lost and the Chargers just lost. And they're like, guys, we can take first place. This
is a really good week of football to have a bye week, because I don't have to deal with anything, and I don't have to deal with anything either. I get to watch all these crazy games, and then let's not even talk about the Monday night game, which I got a hard on for.
Oh my God, I can't wait. We're gonna preview that one on Monday. Bills Patriots on Monday night. I think Scoop mentioned going out because his cousin Vinny is a Bills fan, so maybe I'll try to get involved in that action. But that'll do it for the NFL slate, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank Kyle Kerms, obviously, for chiming in. He'll be in here next Wednesday to make some significant picks where he is 3-0. So keep your eyes on Kyle Kerms. Go follow him. Go subscribe to his premium service, KyleKerms.com. Go do that. Appreciate Kyle for his input today. And of course, I appreciate his followers for kind of piggybacking and joining us on the stream today. I want to thank all the listeners and the viewers today. And of course, we hope you have a great weekend. Listen, this weekend is big. And I know that we're not going to discredit the fact that we're going to have a lot of college football to talk about on Monday too, because a lot of the top 4 teams are going to get in, and we're going to find out who's where, and the playoff teams will probably be released Tuesday. Is that usually the day they drop the 4? Because this is it, right? I mean, they can't make any more decisions.
I don't know if they make it a big special. I'm sure that they're going to make it maybe later on in the night, so they don't have to.
I'm saying
it.
They don't have to
Make
compete
it like
with
a
the Monday
LeBron
Night Football
thing?
game. So I think it's going to come on Tuesday. They'll do a selection special. We're going to get some playoff teams announced. So all of our conversation, you can date back.
Yeah, and it is a shame we didn't even talk about any of the college football games.
Well, we talked a lot about it on Wednesday. If you guys want to listen to college football talk, go back to Wednesday's show with me, Gooch, and Kyle. We're on here talking about a complete cluster F when it comes to teams that are getting into the college football playoff, which only consists of 4 teams. So it's going to be a race. It's going to be a dogfight. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We're going 8-0 because go file Kyle Kurz. We're all going to win every single conference championship game this week. We're excited. All right, so now we're getting
dogs, baby.
Sunday night. They're saying they release it. So that'll be interesting.
Wow.
So Monday's show is going to be loaded. Jimmy Palumbo will be in the house. Kyle, bro, if you're not busy, come on in. Come on in. We can get a little a quad thing going on here. We can get you on here as well to talk college football. Let me know. Sunday, 12 p.m. on ESPN. So right before the NFL slate, the college football playoffs are announced at 12 o'clock on Sunday. So thank you for that information, Kyle, and it'll be interesting. We'll see. But for Sturch and Gooch, this has been another excellent episode of the Chop Sports Daily. We hope you guys download, subscribe, support the entire network. There's so many more podcasts that just dropped today. Go search us on all your streaming platforms, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Enjoy all the football, everybody.
So do you remember that time that asshole podcast guy said that Aaron Rodgers hasn't done anything in the last 2 seasons?
Who's that?
Fucking douche.
Who's that?
Fucking douche.
Weird. He must have been coming off a win and feeling himself or something. I don't know.
The moral win. So we're going to call that a moral